Do you know someone, or are you personally battling a drug and alcohol addiction? Why are so many people addicted today? And why have so many people died as a direct result of this disease? If you've been affected by this problem and want answers like we do, then join us in our efforts to face this disease. Our purpose is to examine the truths, expose the lies, and uncover and provide resources to this affliction. Come, join us in this journey. I'm out here at the Atlantic County Community Health Fair in Atlantic City, and I have here with me Martin Douglas. And Martin, you are a part of the Hope One Atlantic County. What is Hope One?
Hope One is a mobile unit that goes out into the community of Atlantic County. We service individuals struggling with substance abuse or mental health. We also participate in harm reduction. Harm reduction is where we come out in the community and we train individuals on how to administer Narcan, to the community. We want individuals to be able to give Narcan to people that's in distress.
So Hope One is out on the streets, basically pounding the pavement, offering these services to individuals. Would you say that lives are being saved? Like, what is your role in this organization?
So far we placed over 1,200 people in the treatment. We also help with transportation. We also assist in housing, sober housing for individuals and stuff. We try to connect people in crisis to some type of services. We want to link them as soon as possible, especially when it comes to treatment. Individuals that are struggling with substance abuse, it's a very small window of opportunity for us to place the individual into treatment. So Hope One tries to place the person that day. So we have partners that we partner with throughout the state of New Jersey, all different types of substance abuse treatment facilities. We also partner with mental health.
So basically, if someone can just call the number or go on the website, or do you have an office in Atlantic City? Can someone come in there? Or?
So our office is in Mays Landing, okay, and our number is 609-909-7200. Please, it's through the Sheriff's Department. It's going to be dispatched, okay, so it's nothing will happen to an individual that calls and stuff. We urge people to call.
People with insurance, without insurance, homeless.
So yes, so like I said, we partner with different agencies. We have programs that have state funding, so we try to send individuals with no insurance to a place that has state funding.
Now you're involved in this organization. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved with Hope One?
To be honest, right here to my left, I grew up. I was born in that house. It's Mediterranean Avenue, okay? It's the next block over. If you see Pals wasn't there. I went to school right around the corner. I'm from Atlantic City. And I basically got involved with wrong people and stuff. You know, I was dealing with some trauma that I never addressed. And, you know, for quite some time, I struggled with substance abuse.
So you yourself have gone through recovery and treatment, so you have a direct connection.
Yes. One of the things that I like to share with individuals that I work with, you know, I have been to treatment over 50 times and stuff, and I try to share with them my mistakes with me going, you know, me not being focused, me not setting goals for myself while I'm in treatment and stuff. These are some of the things that I try to, as a recovery specialist, instill into the clients that we're working with.
So what do you see the biggest barrier today? Like what's happening in the world of addiction and recovery, you know, that we need to address?
Great question. I was just speaking how, like, the medication, you know, they use Suboxone. That is our go-to drug right now to combat against opioids. But, you know, I think, I'm not a professional, but some of the data that was done, it was when heroin was more on the street. So right now, most of the drugs have, most of the street opiates is fentanyl.
Right, there we go. So
And
now,
fentanyl is, to me, and I say it is a different monster. And these monsters keep coming out, different ones. I've worked with Susan. She's the director of Hope One, Susan Long. Awesome. She's awesome. I never heard of a drug called crack or whatever and stuff. So I think the medication has to catch up with how strong an opiate is.
wow.
Because individuals don't want to go into treatment because they're afraid that they're going to be sick and stuff. So they feel as though the Suboxone is going to send them into precipitated withdrawal.
So Martin, if somebody is like not in Atlantic County, or someone could be watching and maybe they're not in Atlantic City, and how would you help someone? Like, are you guys able to reach out and branch out outside of Atlantic City?
Yes. So we have helped individuals as far as Tennessee, even California. I'm being honest. We had phone calls, people say they worried about a family member. Can we help or whatever? We basically try to link individuals that call our mobile outreach.
So
hotline.
anyone, anywhere,
Yes.
the help is available.
Yes.
We thank you that you're in the front lines and you're doing what you're doing. If the whole wide world out there watching the show doesn't know what Hope One in Atlantic County is, how would you sum it up? Like, what would you tell them if you had to capsize Hope One? What is Hope One?
Hope One is a team that goes out into their community and we help people. That is our number one goal.
You're helping those that are suffering.
It sounds corny. Hope One wants to make sure mommy and daddy comes home at night. So we try to send them.
Saving families, saving individuals.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Martin. Keep doing what you're doing.
Good afternoon. I'm Babette Richter. I'm a nurse at the Oasis Outreach Community Center. Today we brought our mobile unit to bring HIV testing to the community. We know a lot of people cannot get to our site for testing or may be too embarrassed to come in on their own. So we come to all the health festivals and try to bring our HIV testing services to the people of this community.
So Oasis Community Outreach is located here in Atlantic City. And so what would you say is your primary focus? What is your mission?
So the Oasis Harm Reduction Center, which is our fixed site, this is our mobile site. Our primary mission for South Jersey AIDS Alliance as a whole is serving people at risk for HIV, living with HIV, and those who are taking steps to prevent their risk for HIV. We also provide hepatitis, STD, pregnancy testing. We handle the syringe access program for Atlantic City. We're just all about harm reduction and bringing health services to people who are at a high-risk population.
Well, Babette, we don't know how long you've been working in this field, but so let's just say over the last 30 years, how would you say the climate has changed with HIV and the stigma and AIDS and just what you guys are doing?
So I think we've made a significant impact. In New Jersey, syringe use used to be the highest cause of HIV, and by providing syringes and doing that testing and getting people connected immediately for services, we've brought those numbers down dramatically, nationwide as well as in New Jersey and specifically in the Atlantic City area.
Would you say that being out visible helps people to know and become more aware and get the help, or how do you think that you've been the bridge in that area of making the difference?
So I do believe that having the mobile outreach to get on the streets and let people know that we're here has been very helpful. We're a very low-key organization. We don't go out and search for people. They tend to find us, and we wanted to bring this to the people where they are.
If somebody is using and struggling with using and getting clean, how would you help them?
Fortunately, at the Harm Reduction Center, we do have a low-dose buprenorphine program. So anybody who comes in and says they're ready to stop using and they want to stop today, we can connect them with our advanced practice nurse who gets them started on buprenorphine, which is Suboxone, same day. She sticks with them for as many months as needed to get stabilized and then tries to hand them off to a longer-term program. If they're not ready that day, but they say they're thinking about it, they're taking those steps moving toward it, we certainly work with every recovery center in South Jersey as well as some in North Jersey to get people connected as soon as possible when there's an open bed.
That's fantastic. And that's through the same website they can go on. If you know someone that's trying to get clean and can't, where would you send them?
Absolutely. If you Google Oasis Harm Reduction, you're going to find us, or you can go to southjerseyaids-alliance.org, and Oasis Harm Reduction is under that agency.
Thank you so much, Babette, for what you're doing and for being here today.
Thank you.
Here at Addiction and Recovery TV, we're here to tell you that there is hope and a new way of life from addiction. My name is Joe, and I just want to give a quick testimonial about my experience with drug addiction. I started out when I was much younger, got involved with narcotics at a young age. It certainly took me down quick, fast, and I had no control over it. I've been to many rehab facilities, detoxes, and eventually spending 2 years in prison, which was in fact the best thing that happened to me, because I learned that, until I was ready, I wasn't going to get the help I needed. I didn't ask for help, I didn't want the help, and until something happened for me, which I call was, a power greater than myself intervening, and of course the time in prison, I really needed to feel enough pain, and that's when my new past began. Because what happens is you get a new past, a past worth talking about. Everything in the old past it's there, you got to leave it there. And like I said, the good news is that we can move forward like myself. And today I'm living a life, beyond my wildest dreams, and it's all because someone, helped me and believed in me, and I believed in myself. And I'm here to tell you that it's possible for you too, if you or someone is struggling with addiction or any kind of ailment. And the good news is there's hope.
There's actually a kit out there that can help save people's lives. And Kevin was nice enough today to bring that kit with us. And he's going to tell us first what it is. We have it here. I have one here. It is a Narcan treatment kit. And then Kevin's going to show us with the one in front of him of what this kit is and what does it do, Kevin? Can you tell us?
That's an undisturbed kit. Naloxone, or we hear it commonly called Narcan, I guess you might want to call it a miracle drug because it reduces the effect of the overdose immediately. And so it hasn't been readily available. Massachusetts was really the first state to kick it into gear because it is a prescription drug.
Right under the Market Frankfurt line lies First Stop Recovery. First Stop has been active for 2 years, providing homes, help with resumes, job applications, and support for those recovering from addiction. First Stop Recovery Director Frank Aiken says it's about action, not talk. A Philadelphia native giving back to his community.
And the reason I got involved, it is in my neighborhood, and I want to get back and help out.
Aiken says about 30 people live in the recovery homes. He says as the temperatures begin to drop, more shall be coming in. First Stop client Joe Scheidenhauer says recovery homes have given him hope.
These people need help because they can't help themselves. And that's what this is about. It's a we program.
Aiken says his clients meet up with a unit for intensive outpatient programming every week where they can get evaluations and more. The medical examiner's office says healthcare providers can prescribe low doses of opioid painkillers, but First Stop does not agree. Their process,
No Suboxone, no Methadone, straight cold turkey and go through it.
While First Stop is helping those recover from addiction, Temple students visit the neighborhood each week as a part of a class. They set up a table on the sidewalk and talk to community members to hear the issues they face each day. Temple professor Jillian Bauer-Reese teaches the class Kensington Voice. She hopes this class will better serve the community.
We're just hoping that by being on the ground in Kensington on a regular basis, we'll build relationships with the community.
For Aikens, he just wants to give everyone a chance.
Everybody deserves a shot, and we give you that shot.
Maybe you can help us to help stop suicide. We need your help. We're a small nonprofit with a big message. How can you tell if someone's going to commit suicide? We have a fantastic brochure that gives you some tips, some ideas. But some of the other things about it is if someone's decided they want to get out of this life, just ask them, what if it's worse for you after death than it is where you are now? How do I know? I died. I went to the other side. I had a near-death experience. We've given away over 2,000 books, God's Heavenly Answers. If you know someone who needs this book and you need hope, please contact us. It's available for free if you need it, and hopefully maybe you'd be able to do a small donation, $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever you can do to help the cause. But it does answer a lot of questions. There is a reason and a purpose for being here. Also, we help teach you how to reap miracles. We'll send you a free copy of 10 Ways to Reap Miracles. Please let us hear from you.
Don't you want to know where you're going before you pull the trigger on that gun to your head? I'm about to tell you true stories. One day, I answered the suicide hotline, and I heard this woman's frantic voice say to me, "I know you helped stop suicide." My brother John called me, and he said he's so depressed, he has his finger on the trigger of his revolver, and when he pulls it, he's going to instant peace. She said, "I called the police. They're afraid to break down the door. He might pull the trigger." I said, "Quick, give me the phone number." I called it. Finally heard a man's voice say, "This is John. Goodbye to you and goodbye to the world. Bury me in peace." Believing he could hear me over the answering machine, I said, "Don't you want to know where you're going before you pull the trigger on that gun? What if it's worse for you after death than where you are now?" How do I know? I died. I went to the other side. I had horrific regrets. If suicide is a good idea, it will be a good idea next week. Please hear my story first. Death is not the answer. What I said caught John's interest. He picked up the phone and said, "I'll give you 1 week. If I don't agree with what you say, I'm finishing the job." He put the gun down, opened the door for the police. They took him to the mental hospital. I'll get back to you about John. What I want to talk to you now about is suicide prevention. If you know someone who's really feeling depressed or suicidal, raise your hand. Surprising, isn't it? Even though only God can judge accountability, many suicides are done for really small reasons. As an example, Robert, a 17-year-old outstanding high school student, committed suicide. Why? His parents were devastated when they read his note. It said, He couldn't face them because he had a B on his report card. He was no longer a straight A student. Suicide rates are skyrocketing. Back to John. While he was in the mental hospital, he heard my true life after life story. And he changed his mind about wanting to die. And he started a suicide prevention group right there in the hospital. Soon he was released. He went on to college, earned his psychology degree, and continued his life-saving work. What did I say to John that helped him so he changed his mind, decided he wanted to live? I told him about my childhood, which was very tragic. And then when I was 8 years old, I went to a funeral and I heard how nice heaven is. Hey, I'm very practical. Why stay in this world with all of its problems if I could just die and go to that place of peace? From then on, I was suicidal. After a terrible auto accident in 1960 and 8 failed back surgeries, I attempted suicide twice. Then in 1980, my father committed suicide. This reinforced my belief that I wanted to die. In 1983, after having been severely ill for over a year, having repeated pneumonia, bedridden, allergic to the antibiotics, the doctor told me there was nothing more they could do for me and I was going to be dying. Wow, when I heard that, I was more thrilled than you would have been if you had winning tickets to the lottery. I wasn't going to have to kill myself. I was just going to die and go to that place of peace. My condition worsened. I woke up one day barely conscious. And then all of a sudden, I was up and looking down at my body. It was shocking. I had a life review. I saw how I'd given up. I didn't learn and make it through problems by giving up. I just wasted my valuable earth time. I also saw that when someone dies and it's their time to die, they go home to a grand celebration. It was agonizing regrets for me. I pleaded, please let me have another chance to live. I promised to tell everyone who would listen how valuable earth time is. Then I saw this gold-crowned tooth. I knew that my tooth had something to do with my being so ill and dying. Then I was back in my body. I wasn't that wispy thing anymore. I could feel my face. The next day, I had my mom take me to the dentist. I insisted he pull that tooth, even though it didn't hurt and nothing showed on the x-rays. After it was out, the surprised dentist told me and showed me the blackened roots with melted infection up in my sinuses. I began feeling better immediately, and within 3 weeks I felt like a new person. One of the things I discovered while I was on the other side, we all began dying the day we were born, and none of us know how much time we have left on earth. I also learned life is too short to be angry, to hold grudges, and the importance of being loving, kind, forgiving, merciful, even on the freeways. Look around you. There are many hurting people who could use a kind word, a good deed. And remember those people you thought of when you were thinking who was suicidal? Maybe you can help prevent suicide. Share my story. Share the message of what if it's worse for you after death than it is now. Suicide is not the answer. Life is worth living and loving, even with all of its challenges.
When you've tried everything else.
There was a time as a mother that I felt as though my daughter wasn't going to survive this.
When I got here, I was on the brink of death. They helped carry me when I didn't believe in myself. And I can honestly say it's the happiest I've been in years.
Enlightened Solutions has given me my daughter back, and for that, I'm very grateful.
Enlightened Solutions. Recover successfully.
was 26 years old. I was sitting in my truck in the parking lot of a movie theater getting high.
I was an outcast my whole life, like I didn't know where I belonged.
Knocking my head against the wall over and over and over again.
So I came to Narcotics Anonymous. I heard a message that made my ears pop.
People who I can relate to and identify with. Managed to heal relationships, start families, and be happy with life.
Drug problem? We can help. We've been there. Narcotics Anonymous.
Many people have been touched by addiction, either directly or indirectly. Join us as we educate and break the stigma associated with addiction. Together, we can start a revolution and bring the disease out of the darkness and into the light.
Hi, I'm standing here in Budapest at the Cave Church here, and I'm with Jad, right?
That's correct.
A little bit of what I know so far about this church. Before it was a church, it was like a natural spring, a water spring, right?
Absolutely. That's part, we call that, is the outer cave.
Okay.
That was a cultic place till 1,000 years ago.
Okay. We're standing out here. This is a big cave around us.
Yeah,
this
at the big
open,
cave,
right?
sure. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's open. This part is the more than 4 million years old, the middle of the Earth history.
Really, middle
Absolutely,
of the earth.
yeah.
So we're
And
standing also across is the Danube River
Absolutely,
here. So
absolutely.
that's a very historical thing. And then at one point, we know that this was all closed up. They built a wall right in front after it was made a church. So it was made a church.
Absolutely.
Right?
So
Not too often that you get to
understand,
visit a
yes,
church inside of a cave. So if you're in Budapest, make sure you come check out the cave church here.
Here at the Iao Valley in West Maui, Hawaii, this sacred site is overflowing with beauty and distant echoes of Hawaiian heritage, offering breathtaking views of lush forestry, streaming brooks, and towering peaks. One can't help but to be captivated by the spiritual influence of the waters and Polynesian experience. The multicultural legacy is commemorated here in the park, giving honor to the various cultures who came together working in the sugarcane industry. The Chinese, the Japanese, Korean, Filipino, and Portuguese, all working together in unison while purposing to maintain their own individuality. As I walk through the park, I see this same union taking place in nature, even in the trees. The intertwining and the growing together of the branches is quite remarkable. I look at this as the essence of the multicultural experience here in West Maui. The banyan tree, which is miles away on Front Street, displays this same type of integration. If you're in West Maui, Hawaii, be sure to check out the Iao Valley.